good wilderness, respect, lies a village that defies the limits of human endurance. This is Oymyakon, the coldest inhabited place on Earth. At -71 degrees Celsius, even your breath freezes before it leaves your lips. But for one man, this is simply home. Every morning, before the sun even tries to rise, the nomad steps into the ancient cold. His body has survived temperatures that break steel. And his mind has learned to read the wind like scripture. In Yakutia, warmth is not comfort, it is survival.
Oymyakon was never meant for humans, yet humans settled here.
The cold is so deep that engines must burn through the night.
And water freezes faster than it can be poured.
Houses breathe fire to stay alive flooring, and so does the nomad. The nomad layers fur upon fur, each piece a lesson from generations before him. He checks his handmade Yakut knife. His thermos of melted snow, and the old Soviet rifle. That still works in the cold, where modern metal shatters. The nomad walks into the tundra, a land where sound dies before it travels. Here, the cold is not an enemy, it is a presence. It watches, it waits. And it punishes any step taken without respect. But the frozen Indomitable River is the most feared of all.
Beneath its thick armor of ice flows a current strong enough to swallow entire reindeer.
The nomad knows the river's moods, Lane. But one mistake can end a life in seconds. On this river, even signs of life look frozen in time. The nomad searches for the faintest trail team. A cracked hoof mark, a shattered patch of snow. Clues that the wild still moves in this silent world. Today, he follows the tracks of an animal built for the cold, yet still hunted by it. In Yakutia, the weather has no mercy. Storms form without warning, Kraid. Walls of white that devour everything.
The nomad feels the air tighten, the same way his grandfather taught him.
He must move quickly sailing, or become another frozen memory. Through the blizzard, shapes begin to move. A small herd of wild reindeer, survivors like him, push against the storm. But one massive bull blocks the nomad's path. In the Yakut wilderness, respect decides who walks away. But the cold has one final test. As the nomad crosses the river, the ice shifts, cracks, and then gives way. In Yakutia, falling into the water is not an accident, Tim. It's a death sentence, counted in seconds. Muscles stiffen instantly, lungs seize, vision narrows. But the nomad does not panic. He drives his knife into the ice. Pulls once. Twice. And drags himself back into the blizzard.
Hypothermia gives no full mercy now.
Fingers numb, breath burning, he builds the one thing colder than death fears: flame. In Cairn, who's 71 degrees Celsius, even fire fights to stay alive. Hours later, the storm eases, leaving nothing but silence. The nomad gathers himself, smoke still rising from his makeshift fire. He walks the Nim, not because the tundra welcomes him whole, but because he refuses to surrender. When he finally reaches the cabin, the world feels almost warm.
But only by comparison.
He melts snow for water, hangs his clothes to dry.
And lets the fire rebuild the strength the river tried to steal. Life in Oymyakon is not about conquering the cold, but understanding it. And for the nomad, tomorrow is just another day in the world's coldest village. Because here, survival is not a choice.
It is a way of life.